Hello Naps, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jocelyn and today we are going to be talking about interpersonal intelligence as part of my 9-part series on the multiple intelligences. And today is exciting also because I'm going to be trying to recreate Mimles' Instagram post pictured here. Look how pretty it is. Ooh. So let's get started. Don't forget to check the description for information regarding what products that I used and also what links that I used for my information, because I am not a professional, so I look stuff up. I try to find good resources and have backed scientific evidence, but if I say anything that you find inaccurate, let me know. Interpersonal intelligence is one of the 9 intelligences that Howard Gardner theorized, as we've been talking about before. If you have not seen any of those videos, please feel free to go check them out over there. Yeah. Today, because we're doing some illusion makeup again, we're going to be sticking to our Mayron Paradise paints, but also I'm going to be using my Ben Nye Aqua paints, and I'm going to be using the white. They're water activated, super easy to use. Now, I'm learning a lot about illusion painting, which is a fun little sector of the SFX world, and it's always good to kind of check your screen that you're doing your illusions through. So this one is my phone camera, and I'm not going to make it quite as crazy as Mimles made hers because I don't think I have the space for that. I just need it to be big enough for my hands to come through, so that should work. Interpersonal intelligence. Interpersonal intelligence is different than intrapersonal intelligence. Not just by one letter, I promise, but interpersonal intelligence is all about how you interact with other people. So if you know any of those people who are just like social butterflies, everything they do is like fantastic and glorious, they probably have high interpersonal intelligence. And I'm taking a little bit of the red mixed with a little bit of brown, and I'm gonna try and start making my illusion effect. Probably not the best day to wear glasses while doing this, because if you're a glasses wearer, you know, peripheral vision is an interesting thing. Oh, that looks cool already though. So for all those social butterflies out there who can read people really well, read situations really well, you have high interpersonal intelligence. That is stuff that not everyone can do. Every 80s rom-com movie has not taught you that, then let me be here to tell you that. Not everybody has that skill. I feel like that was a big popular trope back in the 80s. Yeah, there we go. That looks cool so far. It was fingers coming through. Oh gosh, so I have to make it look like, I don't think I'm getting my pinky in there. I'm gonna switch back to the white again to try and figure out where my fingers are gonna be in this. Because the goal is, oh gosh, try and make it look like my fingers are popping through. Guess I'm not getting the fingernail portion in there, but I feel like she also just has a really skinny neck. Not that there's anything wrong with that. All right. There, got my fingers outlined. It's just gonna be poking through. I don't think it's gonna be, well, it could be. I could try and make it grabbing on. I would have to recreate my nail polish too then, and I don't know if I'm about that right now. And I probably need to make these a little bit longer too. I actually chose this particular illusion because it looks like one of the easier ones of hers. And by easier, I mean like the one that it wouldn't take me hours to get right. It would just maybe take me like 1 hour to get okay. Now that I got that kind of outlined, I gotta try and mix my skin tone in here. I could, in theory, use like a foundation, but part of it is you want to get like shading right. So I'm gonna mix some brown and some white, see where that gets me first. Probably go in with some yellow. Yeah, definitely gonna go in with some yellow because the white is going to just make it look a little chalky. It'll brighten it up, but it will also make it look very maybe a little bit of red. See, it's still pretty dark, but it is a shadowed area, so let's start out with that dark. first, and then maybe, yeah, I definitely gotta lighten that up again. And again, add some more yellow tones to it. Got a neutral undertone complexion, so this is way too dark. I think it's getting darker. Huh, good things to know. When it dries, it gets darker. And then maybe I just do a little like side thumb. Yeah. And a little pinky. But the pinky's not going to be holding on to anything, it's just going to be peeking out. I don't have a whole lot to talk about interpersonal intelligence today because it's pretty straightforward. We all know somebody who has interpersonal intelligence. They have just this understanding in how to deal with other people where they can just communicate effectively and read people so quickly. Another thing, which if you're like a social butterfly, let me know if this is true for you, is they have an easier time negotiating conflict. Now, I know there's a lot of people who are not huge fans of conflict, and it might be very not fun for people to deal with. I'm curious, if you're a social butterfly, do you also have an easier time dealing with conflict, or is that maybe like some people who are social butterflies and not all? And now it's a little too yellow. Maybe gotta add some more red back in. Matching skin tone shades is probably one of the more difficult things to do. For her, she has her palette that she partnered with Mayron with, that she can easily mix and match skin tone shades on it and have grays and whites and blacks and stuff. It's a really cool looking palette, but it is possible to do that without the palette. There we go. This is much closer. Actually, maybe a little too close on this spot of my neck. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to see that. Okay, that's looking better so far. Okay, and I'm pretty sure the background was the same shade as her background, which she usually does a black background, but I have a silver background. So I have my Graftobian Cosmetic Powdered Metal. There we go. And I think I should be able to mix this with water, even though I also, somewhere not on this table right now, have that liquid mixer. Water should also work to activate it. Just add a tiny, tiny little bit. Oh yeah, look how silver that is. So shiny. Oh yeah, that's basically the same color as my background. Famous person you might know who is Howard Gardner's personal top choice for interpersonal intelligence is actually Helen Keller's teacher, Anne Sullivan. Kind of interesting to think about. I mean, she's known for being the teacher to Helen Keller, but she in herself doesn't seem that crazy, right? Not super, super popular on her own, usually in association with somebody else. So how would that make her have that? Well, it's not about the popularity of her. For this, it's more about what she did. She taught someone who had multiple disabilities, and she herself never had any education in how to teach those who had disabilities. And I mean, really, people with disabilities are just people, regardless, but teaching them can be challenging because of the different ways you have to go about it. For somebody who can't see or hear, you can't lecture in the traditional way. You would have to go about it, be a lot more tactile and more sensory friendly. But Anne Sullivan had zero experience teaching children with special needs. She had no formal training, and she goes in there with Helen Keller and ends up teaching her everything she knows and helps her have a fulfilling life. Not only that, but she also works with the dynamics of the family too. So she has to deal with Helen Keller. She also has to deal with her family and how to navigate their expectations, Helen's expectations, and the general public's expectations as well. So I think that is pretty darn cool. If you've had a really excellent teacher in the past, your teacher has probably had fairly high interpersonal intelligence. Ooh, there's little silver dust everywhere now. I have to be careful using this brush because now I've got little silver flakes in there. It's just gonna make everything look glittery. Maybe I should have saved the silver for later. Oh my gosh, it was a good match and now it's darker again. I don't know how this keeps happening. I think it's getting darker. Huh. Good things to know. When it dries, it gets darker. This was the same shade as my skin when I started. Why do I keep challenging myself to try and paint on my neck? Then I add this to it. And then I add wearing glasses. So it's supposed to look like your hands are reaching through your neck and pulling. How's it look so far? I think it looks kind of cool. Okay, now I need to get some fingernails on there. I'm wearing, if you follow Simply Nail Logical, I have Hollow Taco on today, so that's kind of cool. Ignore my thumb. I have a tendency to scratch my nail polish off, but I'm wearing her Mint Money one. So it's a green. It's a very light green, which means I have to mix again. Using the green, I'm gonna use some of the white, and hopefully get like a pastel-y shade. And then for highly reflective things, I guess it's just gonna be like pure white moments. So I have to figure out, oh, how do nails look? Okay. Oh, fingers are hard. Just a little bit poking out there, so yeah, that kind of works. I'm gonna get some of the white, try and add some of that highlight in there, but I gotta make sure I don't have too much water in my brush because otherwise I'll just end up like pooling all of my color, and that would not be fun. Okay, and gotta try and add some dimension to my fingers here. Okay, and I think I gotta go back in with that silver and try and like shrink up these fingers a little because they're starting to look a little large. I'm just gonna fill the background in a little bit more around there. I think I am going to use a little bit of my Boi-ing by Benefit concealer to try and give this a really nice line there. And then I'll darken up the background a little bit because it's still going through a hole perceivably in your neck. And Beauty Blender. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Gives a little bit of a highlight right on the edge there. That looks creepy. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go and darken it up now. Try my best to get like a gray going. Add some black. Add some white. I'm gonna have to clean this white out because otherwise I'm gonna end up with a really muddy white. Let's go in there and start darkening up some of that back silver a little. Oh. Huh. Maybe I do need to use that concealer again for those fingers because they just keep getting darker. And now they're different shades, which I don't even understand how that happened. And I do need to have some dark tones in there, but they're just so dark that it did not match, which I think she ran into as well a little bit in that photo, but maybe she was just accounting for shading in there. So I'm gonna try and go in with some brown and add a little bit of like an edge to those fingers, a little bit of a shadow. I'm assuming that the lighting is coming from up top, so we're getting a little bit of shadow underneath. A little bit of dimension there. Oh, okay. Let's see if I can use the back and just kind of... It's like an eraser. It works. You get like a blendable period with these. And also it helps the concealer is more of a cream, less of a water activated thing. So it stays blendable a little longer than some of these other things would. And this was actually going to be darker because of where it sits inside there. Trying to think, there's a little bit more pink that I can add, just a little bit of pink. So specifically with interpersonal intelligence, it's all about noticing distinctions in other people's temperaments, their moods, their motivations, and their intuition. Trying to create the nail bed there, which is difficult. Probably need to go back with a darker green. With a little brush, a little bit of the darker green. Make sure that I don't have excess water on there so it doesn't run. Okay. Yeah, I think the first time I made it too light. So now I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna try and add my like lighter flecks. Again, trying to keep the water content down because I don't want it to run everywhere. And now if I add my sparkle. hopefully it should look a little bit better. Okay, let's see. How'd I do? Did I do okay? I think it's not bad. I think it kind of fits with Mimles stuff. The reason today that I used Mimles as an inspiration was because with interpersonal relationships, it's all about working together and finding out what other people's strengths are, playing off of them, and making some really cool things. So she is like a huge inspiration as far as the illusion community goes. She's just like top tier illusion makeup. It's really, really neat to see her work. She's done things for the Met Gala. She has done all sorts of really, really neat work, and she bases her work off of her sleep paralysis dreams, which is also super neat. And so I am taking her work and trying to figure out if I can recreate it, boost my own skills too. Yeah, it's important to see the people around you and be able to work with them. And not only does she work on her own too, sometimes she works with a team. She does a lot of editorial shoots, so she has to know how to work with other people. And that's the way with a lot of like makeup artists in general, is you have to know how to work with a team. So build up those interpersonal skills, have fun, do things that inspire you, make cool illusion art. I don't know. Thanks so much for joining me today. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this video, if there's anything else you would like to see. Give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Hit the subscribe button, ding the notification bell to get notified when I post videos. I will hopefully see you here next Thursday. All right, Naps. Bye.